And welcome back to a new edition of the Red Mountain Express. We have no idea what episode this is because, as you probably noticed, we haven't been here for about 3 weeks. Or at least I haven't been here for 3 weeks.
No, none of us have been.
Yeah. So where's everybody been in the last 3 weeks? Let's go through.
I just want to. I was willing and able.
Okay,
to
Patrick
record
was
for this
here.
podcast.
You
You guys have.
nothing
Way,
to
I know you guys have
Patrick
way too much
doesn't
going
own
on.
the equipment. It wasn't at his house. He didn't have it.
I can't edit it even if
Could
I
you
Could
have
have
record.
done-
been like a Jim Rome show, where he just talks in the mic.
Just
You
yell.
could-
I just yell stuff into the mic.
You could have done that.
With
Why
sound
didn't you do
effects.
that?
Get really angry
Yeah.
about sports or
Okay,
something.
well, so Patrick was here, so it wasn't his fault. Where were you, Matthew?
All right, so it's been a long journey from 3 weeks ago.
Are you going to write a story about this?
It's going to be in
Yeah.
my biography. I'll
Release
sell
it in 3 parts. Return of the King.
My wife and I, our son had just turned 5 months, and my wife and I were talking about daycare, and we were going to put him in daycare, because we want him to have like social experiences and.
You wanted him to get sick a lot.
Yeah, we want to
And
expose
build that immune system.
Exactly. And rubbing him in dirt wasn't doing it. I tried. And so we thought, maybe like 6-7 months we'll put him in daycare. So I thought, okay, well, great. So I'll start looking for jobs because it'll probably take a month or two to get employed somewhere. Being a stay-at-home dad doesn't look great on the resume, but apparently it doesn't matter because a week after I applied for a job at Shipt, I got an interview and was hired.
And now you're not. Let's just make the record clear. You're not shopping.
I'm
for
not
groceries.
shopping. I'm at the HQ there,
Yeah,
nice.
which is great. It's in the John Henn building, and it's awesome working in that building every day. It's such a cool building.
Now, you sent this to me because I work in the financial services industry, but it's an old bank building.
Yeah.
And tell me about the teller lines and what you can see.
The snap I sent you was basically if you're looking down the teller lines where the old windows are, because they kept a lot of the old bank stuff
Which is really
in
cool,
the
by the
building.
way.
So if you're looking down the teller lines, you can actually see in the Alabama marble where footprints are from where customers would stand in line and wait.
Oh wow.
It's really cool. It looks like ghost footprints are standing there. Like it's really kind of creepy, but also very cool.
Yeah. It's really creepy,
Yeah.
actually, but it is cool.
Is the vault still there?
The vaults, there's several vaults still there.
Do
Yeah.
you work in the vault?
No, I have had a couple of meetings in the vault.
That's
one
cool.
of the vaults.
They turn it into a
One of
conference
them in
room.
the conference room. It's got the old safe deposit boxes still along the walls
that's
and stuff.
cool.
It's very cool. So it's been great, but it's also been extremely time consuming. There was 3 weeks of very intensive training, and now I'm on the floor answering calls and doing stuff all day. And so there's no time for me to meet up with y'all. There's no time to edit. There's no time to see my family. It's just become extremely, extremely consuming.
We've missed you, man.
It's been a while since I got to see y'all's faces.
I know.
So we're still figuring that out.
Yeah,
We
so
will-
it's going to be kind of touch and go trying to get the show out. So I want to make this clear and kind of apologize ahead of time. We may not be very regular for a couple of weeks while we try and figure this out.
Sounded really bad.
I hear y'all. So there's that.
but we will do our best.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Blake, where have you been?
I have been everywhere around the Southeast for the past 3 weeks. 1 week I was in Tallahassee, Florida, because my company has an office there. I was there for 2 days. And then left Tallahassee and went to Jacksonville, Florida for the very first time in my life. Actually, I flew through there one time, but really get to see the city. I went to Jacksonville, Florida. I had to speak to a big group or a group down there. And then something strange happened when I was in Jacksonville. I was tired of sleeping in a hotel. And I left the speaking engagement I had at 7 o'clock. My stuff was still in my car, and I looked and I saw the interstate. And I said to myself, it's 7 o'clock. I can get home before 2 a.m. And guess what I did?
You drove home.
I drove home. And so I did that. And I actually had work to do. I actually had real deal work to do back at the office in Birmingham. So, and I love Birmingham so much, I had to get back to it. The week after that, I was in Sylvester, Georgia. If you don't know where that is, it's outside of Albany, Georgia. I was at a bird hunt.
I'm not sure if I know where Albany, Georgia is.
It's in southwest Georgia.
Okay.
It's a long darn way away from here.
That's right next to Auburn, right?
No, it's south.
Okay.
It's 6 hours away from here. So
wow.
yeah. I was down there for our bird hunt that I put on every year. It's our 7th annual one. And then I came back from that only to turn around and go to Point Clear, Alabama, at the Grand Hotel where my company was putting on a conference, and I worked that for 4 days. And now I'm back in good old Birmingham, and it feels good.
I haven't been anywhere.
That sounds awesome.
Actually, I've been a lot of places in Birmingham. I've had, actually, my sister-in-law came up from Tallahassee. She's going to school down there. She's a freshman down there, and so she came up to visit for the weekend. And one of her friends came down to see us. So We actually got to go around the city and do a few things. We went to Sloss, which I haven't been there just as like a, not for an event.
Just to like take a tour of the place?
Yeah, just to
cool,
hang out and check it out, and took the kids. They enjoyed it. Yeah, I love the place. I mean, I've grown up here obviously, and so I've been there many, many times, but I haven't just been there to walk around the whole place in quite a while. In fact, I got everybody a little bit confused because I haven't been there since they really redid the whole visitor center and like moved it to the opposite side. So we were trying to go in the old original entrance, like under the interstate, and it's like, nope, you got to go around. So we managed to get in an open gate, but that was fun. So we did that. We went to the Essential for brunch.
Now, how was that?
I thought it was really good. The wait was a little bit long. This is it's right over by Matt's new office.
It's from the people that used to be Feast and Forest.
So it's on is it on Morris
which also
Avenue?
used to
Is that
be,
right?
I think, the Baking Bandits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's right there on Morris, and it's not a big place. It's probably 4 or 5 tables inside, and maybe 4 tables outside. So the wait was pretty long, and it was cold. But we walked over and saw some trains going by. The boys loved that, and we waited around, and then we sat outside, which was actually pretty nice. And the food was really, really good. Everybody enjoyed it. No complaints about the food. My wife took home 2 of the Nutella Pop-Tarts that they make. They make homemade Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
They're fantastic.
I love Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, and then this past weekend, there were a couple of places that opened up, and we actually went and tried Martin's Barbecue over in Cahaba Heights. It was pretty decent. They're still working on the place. They're still working on sort of an outside bar area, which looks like it's going to be really cool. They've got a lot of outdoor seating. They've got a lot of good parking. It's right there in Cahaba Heights. If you're not familiar, there's a corner right in Cahaba Heights. It's got 2 gas stations on it, and they're across from that now. I don't know what used to be there, like a car place or something. But anyway, so it's a really cool building, brand new, and I think it's going to be a cool space. It kind of has that sort of manufactured like barbecue. It kind of reminds me of Cracker Barrel, with like the stuff on the walls and
Americana.
the T-shirts as you walk in.
Like they bought that stuff in an antique store. It wasn't just kind of like pieced together from like
exactly.
stuff I have in the backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It's not like kind of homegrown mom and pop store. It's pretty manufactured, but the food overall was pretty good.
Prices pretty good.
Yeah, prices were probably in line with everything else that you would find around town. They do whole hog barbecue, which we actually didn't try. We tried the ribs and the brisket.
I love whole hog.
They have a
barbecue.
combo. Next time I'd definitely try that because there's not a lot of places in Birmingham right now that do that, but soon we'll have. I'm going to forget his name. The guy from South Carolina, Rodney Scott.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we'll have
the old noodle place, right?
Yeah, the old Saigon Noodle House.
Yeah.
So we'll have some more whole hog barbecue in Birmingham. I'll have to check that out.
Because there's anything that Alabama needs, it's more barbecue.
For sure.
Maybe I'll put it this way. I think maybe it's one of those things we can't get enough of.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's interesting with some place because Martin's is based out of I think Tennessee or North Carolina. I think they started in Tennessee, and they have several restaurants there. And I think it'll be interesting to see how people sort of accept this outside barbecue. I mean, they have like an Alabama white sauce, which, it's kind of like, do you really know what you're doing here?
It's like they heard there was an Alabama white sauce and tried
so they had to put that on the menu.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we have to have a white sauce. I don't know if that's originally one of the things that they had, but I thought that was interesting that they did have a white sauce. And then, Rodney Scott coming in from South Carolina, it'll be interesting to see how people sort of go, because they also have like a mustard sauce. And I'm just not a mustard sauce
Not a mustard fan.
fan.
See, I like mustard sauce.
Liz was like, what would you put this on? I was like, I don't think I'd put this on anything. Just throw that back in the trash. Like, I don't need that. So, but it was good. Overall, it really wasn't bad. But it just wasn't really like my preference. But everybody knows.
You got Rusty's.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
it'll be interesting to see though, kind of like the melting pot of barbecue you're talking about. Like,
yeah, I mean we've got a lot of really, really good barbecue in Birmingham. I think we're kind of spoiled.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean there are a ton like people have their preferences of what they like and don't like, but everybody's got their favorite place, and there's a lot of really, really good places.
Yeah. And we have 2 or 3 barbecue joints here in Birmingham that are chains that started in Alabama and in Birmingham that are all very good as well. Like Full Moon, Jim and Nick's.
Yeah.
So many. what's the one on 31?
Dreamland.
No, well, there's Dreamland too.
280.
Golden Rule is what I mean. I mean, there's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so that's 4 right there, just off the top of my head that I can think of. So you're right. I think we're spoiled, but I can't get enough of barbecue. I love barbecue.
Well, cool.
So, yeah. Well, let's take a break. Let's hear from our friends over at Beach and Woodworks, and we'll be back with the rest of the show with some stories from in and around Birmingham. Beach and Woodworks is a locally owned and operated wood shop in Birmingham, Alabama, specializing in custom furniture and small home goods. Chris and Kanan Beecham create a wide variety of unique pieces of all sizes, ranging from cutting boards to farmhouse tables. Using wood sourced from Alabama sawmills, Beach and Woodworks creates affordable, quality pieces that will be a one-of-a-kind fixture for your home. So support your local woodworker and visit redmountainexpress.com/woodworks or check them out on their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Beach and Woodworks, turning your house into a home. And welcome back to the second half of We Don't Know What episode this is.
Our return episode.
Our return.
The Red Mountain Express.
The Red Mountain Express.
It's 60-something.
You know, let's just you know that Jerry Seinfeld, when he used to walk out on the set, he didn't ask what episode this was. He just knew that he was gonna give the audience what they wanted, and that's what we're doing.
Nobody listens to the show and wonders, what episode is this? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they're gonna see in the little podcast.
Exactly.
thing.
I'll put it on there. Or should I just put question marks?
I would just do what episode this. That's just the name of this episode is what episode is
All
this.
right.
Yeah. So let's get to the news.
Let's do it.
The first thing on the news, which is a really wonderful story, is the University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers are in the top 25. They are 7-1, and they are the Conference USA Western Division champions.
Yeah,
Go Blazers.
So 7-0 in the conference, 9-1.
9-1. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. 7-0 in the conference. 9-1. They are going to be playing in the championship on December 1st, but they're also playing Texas A&M this weekend.
That's right.
On ESPN2.
Yeah.
Which could be a decent game.
It really
Well,
could
let
be.
me put it this way: Texas A&M is not ranked, and UAB is.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about this, guys. Just a few years ago, they had canceled this program.
Yeah.
It was dead. Then they brought it back, and just 2 years into it, they're playing for a championship. And not even that. I mean, they you have seen gradual, progressive improvements of this team. And I'm going to say this. Bill Clark has been a fine coach, but he's going to be gone next year.
I have
hate that.
no doubt. I mean, I don't know if it'll be next year. It'll be soon. He's going to get job offers for sure. But, I mean.
I'm sure he's already getting them. At
Sure.
least at some.
Louisville.
Some talking to, at least.
That's kind of what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll go to Louisville or not. But as I was listening to some of the guys on, I think the roundtable were talking about, as soon as some of the bigger jobs open up, you sort of have that trickle down effect where you get those
People
second
move up,
tier
yeah.
coaches that are doing great, go to the top tier teams, and then they pull up sort of some of the other coaches. So he's definitely going to get a job. I mean, I don't begrudge him for. I'm sure he's going to take some money, and he deserves it because he has been incredibly loyal. I mean, how do you go, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to stick around to this program that just got dissolved, and I'm gonna just wait it out and see if this thing comes back. I mean, that's incredible.
It is.
So
what I would love to see is after 2 seasons of this. So last season was great for him. This season even better. I would love to see UAB or the people on the board at Tuscaloosa actually put some money towards this and pay to keep him around, and let's keep this football program going for UAB because that can't hurt the school overall.
I don't know if you can pay him enough to keep him around. I mean, maybe you can, but I think that if someone like, like and I won't even say Louisville, but if someone, like in the SEC, let's say a Mississippi State, not that they would fire their coach right now, but if someone like that came calling, he has to take it. I mean, at some point, you just have to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to take something like that. But having said that, I think that Coach Clark feels some sort of loyalty to this program because he stayed through a very tough time.
Exactly.
And, maybe he says, you know what, this is probably where I'm going to stay for a little bit longer and ride this thing out.
Yeah, and maybe it's not about like the infamy or not infamy.
Because
but
this is not a fluke. This is not like someone who came in and took other people's players who they recruited for years and won championships. This is someone who has built a program from literally the ground up.
He's pulled in a lot of junior college players. A lot of people question whether or not that's sustainable. Go for it. I mean, I think
absolutely. I think it is actually.
I think it is. I think there's a lot of talent that gets sort of falls through the cracks in the state, and he's picked up a lot of that. But I mean, I've heard other names thrown around. Like I think Neil Brown is getting talked about a lot at Troy.
Yeah.
For head coaching positions as well. So I mean, there's a chance that it'll be this year. If not, I mean, he may just be waiting out until he gets like a really, really sweet offer. But and he should.
So to kind of put this conversation in perspective, the only thing I can compare UAB to is SMU. SMU, if you don't know, and I will say watch the 30 for 30 Pony Excess. It's an awesome documentary about how they broke the rules over and over again. They won Southwestern conferences. They won Cotton Bowls. They won a national championship. They had some of the greatest players, and then they were given the death penalty because they kept breaking the rules. Since then, since they were restated their program in 1989, I believe they've had like a few winning seasons.
Yeah,
and that was back in the 80s.
many.
Yeah. And he's done this in 2 years.
I mean, it's
just a phenomenal job, and I don't think we can say enough about it. So it's our top story, in my opinion. I think it's wonderful. And just to kind of piggyback on the story, there's reports coming out that they're going to start on the stadium before the new year.
Yep.
Architectural plans, financial plans will be finished here the next week or so, and they will begin construction before 2019 starts. So
that's awesome.
they wanted to get it done. I think we said this over and over again before the 2021 games, World Games come to town. So that bodes well for downtown. It bodes well for UAB, and it's just kind of keeping the thing moving forward. We'll quit talking about the stadium one day when it's built.
No,
Yeah.
then we'll still talk about it. We'll
still
talk about how great it is and how wonderful it is to go to games there. So
yeah.
All right. So Blake, I'm going to point this story towards you because, much to my chagrin, it's November. Halloween is come and gone, and I know that you have your Christmas tree up already, don't you?
No. Thanksgiving's next week, but you best believe the Christmas tree will be going up probably the Friday or the Saturday.
Have you started listening to Christmas music?
Yeah,
yet?
96.5 is playing it.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I came in from Georgia the other day, and I got on Highway 280, and as soon as I got into where I flipped it on, and have yourself a merry little Christmas plan, it was just beautiful.
So
and the leaves were falling.
In line with that, Railroad Park.
Yeah, the ice skating rink is returning to Railroad Park, presented by Viva Health.
Birmingham.
That's
what it is. That's
look
what they
at
say.
you.
That's what it's called.
It'll be the day after Thanksgiving on November 23rd. That's a Friday. For those who don't know, Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. That's when they will open it up. It's a 50-foot by 80-foot rink. It'll be open 7 days a week. It'll only close on Christmas Day. They'll have the Boxcar Cafe and Red Diamond Coffee and Tea, homemade hot chocolate, and plenty of refreshments out there for people. You can go online to to railroadpark.org. What did I say? Red Mountain Park.
Yeah.
Railroadpark.org/ice skating, and they'll have you can get tickets. You can find out more information. I think this is really cool. I mean,
it is cool. It's kind of like our little Central Park thing.
Did y'all both go last year?
No, I had a less than a 1-year-old.
What about the year before?
I had a pregnant wife.
All right, so yeah, none of us have ever been.
I'm going to go this year. No, it's happening.
I think we
this
might
year.
take the boys this year.
And I don't know if I'll put on ice skates. I might just run on it. You know. Did you ever do that? Did you ever go to an ice skating rink and play like broom hockey?
Yeah, all the time.
See, that was fun.
I loved it. The one and only time I can really remember actually putting on ice skates, I was fearful for my life and limb the whole time. So tennis shoes are much preferred for me.
I've gone ice skating maybe 3 times in my life, and
twice. It was awful.
It was painful.
You've still got your teeth. So
most of them, yeah.
These are fake, which you don't know. I think I clung to the wall the whole time, but it was fun. I mean, I want to try this out again. Admission is $10 for children under 12 years old and $12 for adults. That includes skates and sales tax. So and if you, Matthew, if you want to take the whole ship crew out, more than 20, it's going to be $9 per person.
So that sounds even more dangerous. You getting that many people on the ice
at a time, adults,
coworkers that you have to see the next day or the next week. No,
now,
thank you.
For Patrick, if you want individual season pass, unlimited visits, $65.
That's not bad.
No, that's
or
really not
family
a bad
pass, $150.
That's really not bad.
No,
Yeah.
not if you knew you were going to use it.
If you're going to go more than a couple of times, it's probably worth it.
So this is going to be open through January the 6th. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right.
So, and the website's awesome. It's got snow falling down on it. In Birmingham.
Yeah, so also, since you mentioned the website, of course we'll have it linked, but it's railroadpark.org/ice skating.
Yeah, or you can go to redmountainexpress.com and find the link in the show notes.
That's right.
Look at y'all, man. It's like we just were here yesterday.
All right, so in unrelated news, hitting back towards our old favorites, the restaurant scene, Saw's in Avondale is looking at expanding.
Which, they're so small now. I mean,
this is the Soul Kitchen, right?
That's right. So
Saw's
the one in
Soul Kitchen.
Avondale, not the one in Crestline.
And I mean, expanding how? Because one, that building is tiny, right? I mean,
and so looking at it, you got to imagine, like, where's the space coming from?
you're knocking down a wall at this point, right?
I have no idea where the
I
space
think
is
they've got
coming
to
from.
be. I mean, they got to be talking about expanding out into that alleyway, right? That's the only way I could see this happening.
So in the article is coming from Biz Journals, and what they mention here is expanding the kitchen space out back, like in quotes out back. So I'm guessing that's into the alleyway.
No, I mean, they can go backwards, like the alleyway is sort of to the left.
Oh, you're right. You are right. Yeah.
So I guess they'd be expanding backwards and then making room in the front.
So I'm reading the article. They're going to do a new kitchen. They're going to put a new kitchen in the back, and then they're going to expand their seating to where the current kitchen is.
Okay.
So and they're going from like 20 to 24 people with about 6 tables, and they're going to look at tripling that in the dining room.
That's a pretty big expansion.
That's
I mean, that's still
significant.
not a huge restaurant, but it's
a whole lot bigger than it is now. I mean, you can't hardly get a seat in there now.
Which is one. I think that's honestly one of the worst drawbacks about that place currently is you walk in there and it's cramped.
I have only ever
it's not
you're
the
cheek
place
to
for
cheek,
you.
man. I mean,
I've only ever gone in there to get food to go. Like I've never tried to sit down
I've
there.
sit down and eaten a couple times,
Really?
and it is the
We've
worst
sat
thing about
outside.
eating is you're sitting there and people are looking at you like, you gonna
You
get up?
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
up?
You
Get
done?
up.
Yeah. It's my turn.
Speaking of Avondale, did you notice the parking lot behind there is charging for parking now?
I did not notice that.
Yep.
I believe
So
we
that's the
spoke
one
about this story.
between
Did we speak
Wasabi
about
We did,
Lines?
yeah.
We spoke about
This was a couple months back.
So I went to Avondale Brewery. We had a work event there, and they were charging for parking. I didn't pay for it. but
Is this the one sort of between Wasabi Wands?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize.
Hey, there's a podcast
Yeah,
y'all can listen to that covers these kind of stories.
we've been gone for so long; it's just kind of hard to remember. You know,
You have to go back and listen to episode 48.
what episode are we on?
63.
60X.
60X.
That's 63. I looked it up.
You just looked it up. Well, anyway, I just didn't know they were charging for parking because I
Yeah,
wasn't paying attention when that story came out. It's not bad, actually. I mean, it's fine. It was like I was there for like 4 hours and I paid like $4. It's like really not that big a deal. And if that's what it takes to keep things up and running, I'm fine with paying that.
Well, yeah, and it helps alleviate some of the issues with people parking their car there for days at a time. So
Right.
that's
Which is what Patrick does all the time.
Why would I do that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be funny and you're not laughing, so that's your problem.
So another sort of drink news, not food, but drink news. We have a new brewery in town. It's called District Brewery. It's opening at the Battery. So this is downtown. I have heard and seen pictures, and it looks awesome. The place looks really, really cool, and I've heard good things about it. It's only been open a couple of days, I think.
open last weekend, if I'm not mistaken, on Saturday.
That's what I wanted to think was the other thing that opened in addition to Martin's was District Brewing. But yeah, I've already heard great reviews about the place, like the building itself, and the space. I think just the pictures I've seen, it looks awesome. Looking at their beer list, it looks pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm looking at that as well. They have an Oktoberfest, which I am a huge fan of.
Yeah.
And so
goes right along with your Christmas carols, right?
exactly, you have Oktoberfest and Christmas carols. And then they have a red ale, which I know Matthew likes as
Huge
well.
fan.
So, you said they're in the Battery.
That's right.
And there's, we've talked about this before. There are so many things going on over there. This is just kind of the next evolutionary step for that area. And then I think you can go and get some fried chicken right next door. So I think it's Gus's Fried Chicken. Is that right?
Yeah. Is it another hot chicken place or is it
I
just
think
fried chicken?
I
don't know.
They all have hot chicken these days.
Yeah, that's true.
But
And then you can go. Is it upstairs for True 40?
That's right.
And work it all off.
yeah, so you can go get some fried chicken, have a beer, and go upstairs to True 40 and work it all off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then get in your car and listen to Red Mountain Express talk about literally nothing sometimes. So
Y'all didn't mention the beer list. I want to cover that because
Yeah, definitely go
So
through.
we've got the Lose Your Way New England IPA. It's a 6.5% ABV. The Red Mountain Red Ale, which is a 5.5%.
Named after us.
That's right. Naming rights. The Descent American Stout, which is a 7%. The Main Gate Blonde, which is a 5%. the American Wheat, which is a 4.7%, and then of course their seasonal brew right now is the Oktoberfest, which is a 5.8%.
Yeah, I really enjoy wheat beers. I know they're probably not the most fashionable beers right now, but
I'm a big fan
I
too.
like wheat beers are really good.
I like them when you get a good wheat beer with that little hint of a banana flavor.
A banana.
You've
flavor?
never noticed
flavor?
that?
No.
Every wheat beer I've ever had, there's like a hint of a banana
What
flavor.
kind of wheat beer are you drinking?
All of them.
I'll have to pay attention to that more.
I mean, it may be one of those things like, you know how some people don't like the taste of cilantro? It tastes like soap.
Yeah,
Like that's such a genetic
But
thing.
I've never been drinking beer, but like, you know what would make this better?
banana.
A banana.
It's not like you're eating a banana. It's just a slight hint.
It sounds like how it makes me think of banana bread with the wheat beer and the.
Yeah,
Somebody's got a banana bread beer.
there is. Yeah, I've had one.
Okay, I was gonna say that's got to have been done.
It was pretty good. I cannot tell you the brand, but I think it's sold in the Piggly Wiggly there close to the house in Bluff Park.
I'd try it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Banana beer. I can't get over that. Anyway,
but go check out District Brewing.
Yeah.
Down at the Battery. Let us know what you think.
it's open. It's ready to roll.
Open now.
Yeah, and it looks really cool. There's an article we'll post to. I think it's at Birmingham now. They have pictures of inside of it, so check that out. Our last story is kind of a follow-up story because we talked about this months and months ago.
Maybe a year ago.
Maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
The former AT&T building, it's called the City Center building, downtown, used to house AT&T. They had marketed it as a mixed-use development for developers to come in for retail and I think someone said a hotel at one point, or maybe office space, and then maybe residential space. Well, that's actually going to happen. Someone came in and bought the City Center for $31 million. It's VCP City Center. This is a story from AL.com.
That's an Atlanta-based company.
Right. And they are actually going to do that. It's going to be a mix of retail, residential, and of office space. Now, this building is huge. It's 700,000 square feet. And we think we were talking about this before, but at one time, this was the largest building in terms of square feet in Alabama. And I don't think it's that anymore, but it's a huge building.
Yeah,
It's got a
really
big
is.
footprint.
It's a really cool, unique building. I don't know that I've seen another building quite like it anywhere.
And I've been to the top floor of that building with a previous job. The view of it's beautiful. It's really nice on the inside. And it's also great that a building that's been vacated is actually going to get a second life. Because so many times you'll see in cities, they'll vacate a building and it'll just stay empty forever.
You think they're going to keep the AT&T logo up there?
They've taken it down.
Oh, it's already down.
Yeah, it's gone.
Where have you been?
I'm looking at old pictures.
No, they've taken the AT&T down. So
So I think that's kind of like Birmingham's thing now, which I'm really into, and I know you are too because you're a big fan of like old buildings and stuff. Is like all this reuse of our old buildings that have been abandoned for a while, or maybe even kind of look like they're on their last legs. You've got developers coming in and really breathing new life into them, which is awesome. I mean, even just they're on 2nd Avenue, like where the John Hamm building is.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the John Hamm building, the Eagleton Hotel in there now. There's another one there on the opposite corner. I'll come back to this later. Anyway, so like that's some like great old buildings that haven't been really utilized properly in a long time that maybe in other cities you might have seen torn down because it'd be too expensive to utilize them. But
and I think they're now again getting a tax break for coming in, and now this is not a historic building by any means, but for those other buildings to come in and restore historic buildings, get a tax credit. So that's good.
So I think you guys know this story, but Birmingham had like the biggest thing that fuels a lot of this is Birmingham tore down their old train terminal station.
The Grand Central Station.
And that has like people are so still to this day torn up so bad about that building didn't get reused.
There was even another article.
Anytime anybody talks about tearing down a building, people are just like, no, you can't do it. Don't tear it down. We'll find a use for it. We'll find a way.
Well, this has nothing to do with Birmingham, but there was a PBS documentary. I'm about to go really nerd here on Grand Central Station in New York City, the original one that they tore down. And I mean, it was beautiful, man. And they put whoever did it put a lot of work into it. They put a lot of love into it, and it got torn down. And that's where Madison Square Garden is right now.
Yeah.
And Penn Station is under it, or it was Penn Station is under it. And if you've ever been to New York and you've gone through Penn Station, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a dump. I mean, it's bad. Like it's you feel like a rat coming out of the sewer, and I think that goes to show you the importance of keeping old architectural, gems in your city because they can be reused for everything. You got a picture up right now, and how beautiful that building was.
If you've never seen a picture of the Birmingham Terminal Station, go look it up. I mean, it was an incredible building, and you can still see, in downtown Birmingham, the little passageway that goes underneath. It still goes down there, but there's just no building on top anymore.
Is the interstate there right now? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think you would.
Or the highway,
like the interstate there. Yeah,
it's just a shame.
It really is.
Well, I mean, it's really funny because when I first moved to Birmingham, I really didn't know much about Birmingham, and I kept seeing pictures of this building. I was like, "Where the hell is this building? I have not seen it." And of course, I think the Magic City thing that we have at
the Rotary Trail.
At the Rotary Trail was that originated there, correct? Mm-hmm. It's nice to have you in Birmingham. So, anyway, but yeah, the AT&T Center, it was built in 1972. Originally housed South Central Bell's headquarters. It later became Bell South, and then Bell South moved to Nashville, where they were headquartered, and then now it was just AT&T, and then now it's empty, and we're going to get some mixed use out of it, which is really, really good. I'm really glad it's going to happen.
It'll be exciting to see what retailers they get to come to downtown for a place like that. I think that'll be really pretty interesting. I wonder if they're just going to do the bottommost floor for retail, or if they're going to use some of the other floors. I
would imagine. I mean, if you've ever gone to other cities and you've seen buildings like that, that's what they do. They use the bottom 2 or 3 floors for retail. Then after that it's office, and then the top floors are mostly residential. Yeah. So we can hope that's what's going to happen. And I couldn't imagine why anybody wouldn't want to live in that kind of building because, like I said, it's a great location. So good building. Glad it's going to happen. So.
Me too. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No. It's glad to see you guys.
Yeah, right.
It's good to be back.
Well, thank you for joining this edition of the Red Mountain Express. You can check us out on our website at www.redmountainexpress.com. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, go to our website and check out the show notes of things we've talked about and leave us a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. We are going to keep you updated about when our next episode is going to be. We're going to try to get our schedules realigned. But until then, just stay tuned, and we'll see you the next time around.